Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Benjamin once again. I have a tree here which I named Gross Anatomy Pedagogical Tree that should be used in dissipating the understanding of gross anatomy. Basically, like that's like an overview. So apparently, in the future, we have to break it down more. So this is understanding gross anatomy. More specifically, we check the Gray's Anatomy, which is the standard for understanding anatomy lectures or anatomy knowledge. That's the standard. The Gray's Anatomy gives an elaborate understanding of how anatomy should be taught or described. Now we have the regional part of the anatomy. So we have the regions from the head, the neck, the thorax, the back. Most textbooks don't pay attention to this. Abdomen, pelvis and perineum, and the extremities. So those are the 7 regions. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are the 7 regions which the human body is divided into: the head, the neck, the thorax, the back, the abdomen, the pelvis and perineum goes as one, then the extremities. Now, on each of these regions, we have a common structure. So that's why I gave it only for the head. So we don't have things just mixed up. Now, I gave them numbers. So let's concentrate on that. So if we look at this, on every structure, every region, we have the bones, the sutures and the joints. Now for the head, the suture it's peculiar to that. So we're not going to give it a general term. So we have bones and joints, we have muscles, spaces, could be peculiar to some have spaces, then viscera, which is number 5, and occupation, that is the organs present and where they occupy. Then 6, the neurovascular bundle. Now, the neurovascular bundle, what I mean by neurovascular bundle means, when I say neurovascular bundle, I mean structures that are contained in their artery and their branches, veins and their tributaries, the lymphatic vessels and nodes, the nerves, branches, and the plexuses. So now I gave it number 1 to 7. I gave 7, which is cavity, at number 7. So for each of those regions, any of these numbered anatomical structures are present if you have it. For example, now since I've given 1 to 7 here, so for neck, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the neck has bones, apparently, has joints, apparently, for the cervical vertebra, then has muscles there, then has 5. There are viscera too at the neck. Talking about the organs there, the thyroid gland and the esophagus, the trachea, and all that. Now, then 6, the neurovascular structures, which are all this. Now I gave 4 differently, which represents cavity and fossa, because the neck has peculiar and unique triangles in them. So that was why I gave it a triangle. Now the thorax, apparently, just like the others, has presence of 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, just like others. Then for the 4, which is the cavity and fosses, the special spaces there are the intercostal spaces, which are peculiar to that. Now on the back, we have 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So on 5, which is viscera, the viscera is going to be the spinal cord and the covering. Now on the abdomen, we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, which are all those structures. They are also present there. And the 4, which is the spaces, cavity, and fossa or canal, it's the inguinal canal. It's very unique or very peculiar to the abdomen. Then we also have a peritoneal cavity, also peculiar to the abdomen. Now, the perineum, we have the external genitalia for male and female. Then we also have fascia, which are peculiar to that too. Now the pelvis, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. You know what I mean? The bones, muscles, spaces, neurovascular structure, and all that. Now the internal genitalia, it's also present there, and we have pelvic cavity as the fourth, I think is mentioned there. Now the extremities, we have 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, there's bone, joints, muscles, the neurovascular structures, and the 4, which are the spaces cavity, and we have very peculiar structures, anatomical structures there. We have the axilla, we have the quadrangular space, we have the cubital fossa, we have the carpal tunnel. Those are peculiar to the upper extremities. Then we have femoral, triangle, and popliteal fossa for the lower extremities. So that's understanding anatomy by region in 5 minutes. That's what anatomy is all about. So in my subsequent videos, I'm going to describe joints, bones, and all that. But if you have to teach anatomy, you have to understand anatomy. This is the simplest way to have a brief understanding of how anatomy should be dissipated, gross anatomy specifically. So thank you very much. See you some other time.